Mr. President, before anything, my team and I would like to congratulate you on being re-elected and wish you the best this new term. And having been the first African American and achieving great things, your first term as president, you have been recognized and already seen as a great historical figure in the eyes of many. But recently there have been many incidents in which people have been denied entry to an airport because they were part of the no-fly list. This all relates back to our defense system and has been paid for by the American citizens. One can relate these issues back to the early years of the Republic through wars. Since the 1950s, two new points of view defense economics has arose. The first being defense spending levels, which have exerted a big and permanent effect on the economy. Peacetime defense spending levels have exerted a major and permanent impact on the economy. And secondly, economists have contributed to a full range of defense decisions. A great example of excessive spending would be George W. Bush after the 9/11 attacks. Bush declared war on terrorists. According to MSNBC, since the beginning of the war on terror, the government has spent about $1.8 billion a week. That is a lot of money that is being spent to support the American soldiers. Money should stop being spent on war and should be instead spent here at home, in our country. This money could help pay for other stuff, such as education, so that everyone could be well educated and extend their knowledge by having college years. And it could be used to turn the economy around. The money has been going towards the war and it has led into an economic crisis here, so as the leader of our country, you should continue on withdrawing the troops from Iraq and spend money here at home to turn the economy around.
Time.
Thank you, Senator Feinstein. Let me first thank you for your leadership going back to 1993 and before, at a time when I was seeking to advocate in the state of Connecticut a similar law to the one adopted here, banning assault weapons. This has been a harrowing, horrific week in the state of Connecticut, culminating in today's moment of silence at 9:30, the end of a week when I spent the better part of the time meeting with first responders and families, going to funerals and wakes, and speaking with ordinary people of Newtown and the state of Connecticut. And the refrain I have heard again and again and again from the people of Newtown and Connecticut and all around the country is, you need to do something about the guns. The NRA statement today is sadly and shamefully inadequate, calling for more guns and rejecting real action against gun violence. At a defining historic moment for our nation, demanding courageous leadership, the NRA has declined to step forward as a credible and constructive partner. The NRA's proposal for more armed guards in schools may be helpful in some instances, but it falls far short of the strong, serious, comprehensive action needed to stop the kind of horrific tragedy that occurred in Newtown last week. Many of the state police who spoke to me on that day a week ago said that the killer was so heavily armed that they doubted they could have stopped him with their armament that they ordinarily carry. The American people are demanding real change, and the NRA's proposal fails to offer any real protection from violence. NRA members in Connecticut and around the country are writing and calling me to say that the NRA does not speak for them. The Newtown tragedy was a call for action, and the NRA has failed to answer that call. We need to do something about these guns, about the assault weapon of the kind that was used in the Newtown tragedy, and I'm very proud to join in Senator Feinstein's bill that will help put a stop to the proliferation of these assault weapons that have no purpose but to kill and maim human beings. We need to do something about the high-capacity magazines also used in the killing at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Better background checks, more of them, so that the 40% now not covered as a result of the gun show loophole are in fact done, and when they're done, more comprehensively and effectively. And other measures relating to mental health need to be part of the solution. There is, in fact, no simple, single solution. We need a dialogue among people who are committed to common sense, sensible solutions. But the NRA will have to alter its approach if it is to be taken seriously in this national debate. Thank you.
Mr. President, another thing that should and is being concerned about is the safety of the American citizens. Recently, there have been various shootings in public places such as movie theaters, shopping places, and even elementary schools. These type of tragic events will not happen if the access to own and possess an automatic weapon was restricted by gun laws. It is understandable that restricting the right to own a gun might lead to specific groups of people going against what you stand for and might lead to future problems within the Democratic Party. It is as well understandable that people might agree and others will disagree. As we saw in the most recent tragic news, the Sandy Hook shootings caused a lot of trouble within the U.S. citizens, and since then has made people reconsider the right that is given in the Constitution to bear arms. Americans wouldn't have to put up through such dramatic events if the laws to own a gun were restricted. Mr. President, if action is taken, several accidents could be prevented and could have been prevented if acted upon earlier. We ask that extra care is taken to meet the requirements. We understand that the situation will not be settled perfectly, but we ask that it is taken into consideration and dealt with in a proper manner.